alive and alert on the north side of the dirt. It is your man D Real coming at you with another Be Real with D Real, where edutainment is what I do. Are you wondering what my shirt says? July 4th is marked out, Juneteenth, 1865, because my ancestors weren't free in 1776. Oh, that's black racism. We're going to have a Black History moment. And we are going to have a Black History moment with an individual that most people are not familiar with. But after I get done telling you about this individual, you're going to be like, damn, how come we don't know about this cat? But before I do, I need y'all to do what you always do for me. Bam! Comment, like, subscribe, and share the Be Real with D Real page so that when the material comes out, you get it. If you're digging what a brother's shoveling, put some dirt in my bucket. Comment, like, subscribe, and share to the page. I'm going to show you a picture. I might dip between one or two pictures, but I'm going to show you a picture, and we're going to get into the story. That right there is Benjamin Pap Singleton. Okay, he did a lot for the abolitionist movement, and a lot of people haven't even heard of him and don't even know his story. So, you know what? I'm gonna tell you Pap's story. We're gonna talk about it, okay? Because records were so sketchy back in those days, they didn't have the exact date. All they know is that slave right there was born in 1809. But he did die in February 17th, 1900. 1809, 1900. That means he died at the ripe old age of 91. Okay? Now, he was an activist and businessman known for his role in establishing African American settlements in Kansas, a former slave from Tennessee who escaped to freedom in Ontario, Canada in 1846. He soon returned to the United States, settling for a period in Detroit, Michigan. He became an abolitionist, community leader, and spokesman for African American rights. Now, think about it for a second, if you will. What did African American rights look like in the 1840s, 50s, and 60s? Non-existent. Can you imagine trying to petition for the rights to have something ended that is basically the lifeblood of the entire South? They were probably gunning for that man. You know what I'm saying? Not just because, of who he was, but what he was doing. Because that's, we're going to teach that dog a lesson, I bet you, is what happened. Okay? Black settlers were lured westward in part by the Homestead Act of 1862, which provided 160 acres of federal land to anyone who agreed to farm it. Y'all already know the story about the 40 acres of the mule. Extrapolate. For African Americans who had seen their hopes for equality and opportunity largely fail in the South after slavery was abolished, the West was an especially attractive destination for them to build their own community. Leaving the South, African Americans believed they would be free of racism and their former enslavers who still wield a great deal of authority over their lives, both socially and economically. Kansas held symbolic importance for African Americans because it had been a major depot for the Underground Railroad for hundreds of slaves escaping bondage. And during its turbulent transition into statehood, the territory known as Bleeding Kansas became known as a battleground for John Brown and other abolitionists who fought fiercely and successfully against pro-slavery factions. We're on a rapid march to Kansas, a song proclaimed, touting Black migration to the state. The land gives us birth to freedom. Nashville-born Singleton had escaped slavery. And like I said earlier, he did that by going to Canada. There was not slavery in Canada. So my man went up to Canada. And eventually, he would become known as the father of Kansas immigration. And that's kind of what that is right there. Look at all them doctors leaving out here. How come they ain't ironing our clothes and suckling our children on their teats? You know, because Black folks was like, okay, slavery's over. What in the heck are we still down here for? You know, Singleton wasn't naive about the likelihood of racial tranquility. As a carpenter in Nashville during the turbulent Reconstruction era, if you need me to do something on the Reconstruction era, y'all holler at me. He built coffins for Black victims of racial violence, and he witnessed Black men being dragged from their homes by white mobs, much like that mob that's kind of gathering around them Black folks in that picture, huh? Persuaded that racial harmony was unattainable, he proposed an independent Black settlement in Tennessee, but the land was too expensive. He made his first trip to Kansas in 1873 to investigate the possibility of starting Black farming colonies. They're on former Indian reservations, well, not reservations, but on former Indian lands. Later, through his real estate business, bear in mind, this brother could not read, yet he had a real estate business. Don't tell me nothing about what you can or can't do. On one of his circulars to the Black community in 1878, he promised large tracts of land, peaceful homes, and firesides undisturbed by anyone. According to Walter Fleming, an early Singleton biographer, the leader of the Kansas Exodus had the support of some white sympathizers who published his circulars in their newspapers and told him that his policy was better than politics. 2 years after his first trip to Kansas, Singleton founded the Singleton Colony, supporting the relocation of 300 Blacks from Tennessee to former Cherokee lands in the southeastern part of the state. In 1878, on the former Kansas Diminished Reservation, Singleton and his associates set up the Dunlap Colony with 200 Black settlers from Tennessee. Singleton also helped establish in 1877 Nicodemus, Kansas, the only remaining town established by African Americans after the Civil War. Singleton facilitated the Great Exodus of 1879, as you can see right there. That's Pap Singleton. That's your Black History moment. Y'all want to know more about Pap Singleton? Holla at your boy. Now, I'm going to be doing another one of these. I might be doing a couple of them a week. And I am almost certain I am going to do them beyond the month of February. Because like I have been telling y'all, Black history is too huge. And I'll prove it to you. New segment on Be Real with D Real. Black History Moment. That's it for now, but I will be coming at y'all with another one of them other ones. And until I do, y'all be good. Be good to each other.